Doctors are watching to see if that person might have symptoms of Ebola. Nebraska's largest school district is continuing their search to find the next superintendent of Omaha Public Schools. Early morning cuttings near 30th and Ames leave 2 injured, including the male suspect. Officials are hoping a recently awarded federal grant will make every school in our state safe, no matter the size or amount of resources. Photo of her next to a giraffe she killed in South Africa triggered global outrage. This car is just one of at least 7 that had the windows broken out early this morning, leaving a trail of scattered glass like what you can see down here all up and down the street. Days like today, when temperatures are in the mid to upper 80s, the temperatures inside a car can quickly skyrocket, hitting well above 100 degrees. This is a second shooting to happen in 2 months here along Highway US 75 North. So we're starting off with Alberta. We'll see how far down in the alphabet we get by the end of the season, right? Everyone out there enjoying those barbecues, camping maybe, worked out perfectly. This backyard in Normandy Hills was a much different scene just a few hours ago. The Bellevue West Marching Band, staff, parents, and alum were all out here to clean up backyards. This is just one example of some of the debris they were working to help clean up this massive uprooted tree. And to give you some perspective, I'm about 5'6", and these roots are almost...
This is my Navy hat. My son just bought me this hat. This is the ship I was on.
Larry Alsasser is a Navy veteran. It's a family military tradition. Both his grandsons also served in the armed forces.
He went to Doane College for 4 years, and then he went into the Air Force.
For the past year and a half, Alsasser showed his patriotism by hanging the Stars and Stripes proudly.
So my flag was hanging right here and not attached to any of their property, right down into the base of here, and it was just something I was very proud of.
But last Friday, he got a call that staff at Standing Bear Lake Apartments removed flags from his patio.
And then I came home and saw them where they're sitting now. It just almost brought me to tears, really. I'm pro-American, pro-military.
Staff not only removed Alsasser's American flags, but also the Husker flag he displayed inside the apartment. Alsasser says no one told him about any change in policy.
When you live in an apartment like this, you try to make it your home. And the patio area is sort of an extension of our homes. And I've had people tell me they really like my flags. I've looked through my lease. There's not a word mentioned about flags. And I've talked to a couple other people, and they said the same thing. It's just a new policy that none of us were aware of.
A policy Alsasser hopes the complex will reconsider.
It just upsets me that being an American, we can't fly an American flag. Flying the flag is, I think, a privilege for all Americans.
A peaceful Mother's Day at Bellevue Cemetery turns from a bittersweet reunion between family and their little boy to pain, anger, and disbelief.
All these other babies around here, leave them alone too. These are people's loved ones. Leave them alone.
The tiny grave is where Braden Skillings rests after passing away at 7 weeks old from SIDS. For the past 10 years, his family has faithfully visited his gravesite every week.
My mom went to put flowers on my grandma's niche, and then she came over here and his statue was gone.
Sunday, the family discovered Braden's final resting place disturbed. A statue of a baseball player adorning Braden's grave is missing.
Braden didn't do anything to anybody. He didn't ask to have anybody come and annihilate his gravesite once, but steal twice.
And this isn't the first time Braden's grave was vandalized. 3 News Now spoke to Braden's mom, Michelle, back in 2014 after thieves stole balloons and toys left by the family on Braden's birthday.
I miss him every day. I wonder who he'd be every day, and it's hard.
Nobody should have to come up and see their dead child on Mother's Day, but to know that this is the second time it's happened, that throws her years back.
Since sharing about the vandalism on Facebook, several others have reached out to the Skillings family saying they've also had mementos stolen at Bellevue Cemetery.
Art in heaven,
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
On earth as it is in heaven.
Give us
this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our trespasses.
as we forgive those who trespass against us.
And lead us not into
Temptation,
temptation.
but deliver us from evil.
Christians around the world are familiar with the words of the Lord's Prayer. Catholics call it the Our Father. It dates back to the original writings of the Gospels of Matthew and Luke. Now the Pope says the phrase, lead us not into temptation, should be reworded.
The current way that it's translated, particularly in English and Italian, in the liturgy, is confusing for people.
In the English and Italian translations of the prayer from Greek, God is asked to lead people away from temptation. Pope Francis is recommending the wording be tweaked to say, abandon us, not when in temptation.
What he really wants to avoid is any notion that God tests us or tries us or tempts us, certainly, into any kind of sin. Certainly not ever lead us into temptation, as the Holy Father says. That's the devil's job.
For many who have grown up with the tradition of the Lord's Prayer, reactions are mixed.
I feel like there's biblical backing for like the reason why it says lead us not into temptation, because I don't think it's saying like God can lead you into temptation. I think it's saying like factors of the world can. So I don't think it's super necessary to change it. I think it can mean whatever you want it to mean.
God is the one leading us into temptation isn't like the most accurate according to Catholic theology. Like if God is all good and all knowing, then like he wouldn't be the one leading us into temptation.
Some hope this will encourage the faithful to take a deeper look at the meaning of prayer.
Very oftentimes it becomes rote. We just say the words. We don't have any opposition to them. We're just saying them at the time of the liturgy. Suddenly now we're stopped with a new translation and we have to think about what we're saying. There's some real grace in that.